Hey guys, let's roll. I'm going to make myself pretty unpopular today. That's not new for me. I've done that before. I always speak the truth or the way I see it. Yeah, usually supported by facts. This time, it's no different. Before we get on with the main story, let's talk about the scamdemic, shall we? Remember the scamdemic? Crept across Europe. It was going to wipe out the world. I can remember standing out on my front door whilst all my neighbours and the rest of the country were banging pots and pans in support of the NHS workers. What were the NHS workers doing at the time? They were practicing their choreography for their latest dance routines whilst people in the wards were dying. I knew shortly after it started that this was a scamdemic, and whilst everyone was cheering on the NHS workers, I was saying, put UV lights in the ward to kill viruses. Nothing happened. I was saying, tell the people about the benefits of taking D3 for their immune systems. That'll fight off any flu. Well, not all flu, some will still catch it. But it would have helped many people. But no, we let the people die, didn't we? Then they started putting people on the ventilator machines. And I said, don't put them on ventilator machines. You're just going to kill them quicker. And sure enough, people were dying because they were put on ventilator machines. People don't listen, do they? They just don't listen. I was right about the scamdemic. Then, of course, we had the Ukraine war. And everyone started waving Ukrainian flags. And were really gung-ho, even more gung-ho than my gung-ho days when I wanted to fight the world to attack communism. And everyone was waving their Ukrainian flags. And I was getting thrown off a military forum that I'd been in for like forever, since leaving the armed forces, because I turned around and said, hold on guys, you've got the wrong end of the stick, yeah? You should do a little bit of research. Russia had no other choice in this war. They were caught between a rock and a hard place. Either watch the genocide of the Russian speakers in East Donbass or do nothing. Russia had no choice but to intercede. But of course I made it much worse then when I said, besides, Russia will win. And I was accused of being a traitor and a defeatist. But the truth is, Russia could not afford to lose that war. It had to win that war. It is winning that war. Maybe not as quick as some would like, but they are winning that war and they will win it. But we'll come back to that in a little bit, shall we? Excuse me. Now, before we continue, I need to make my position on this clear. I'm no great lover of the democratic system. In fact, I'm on record as saying that democracy and demographics will destroy the Western world. Personally, I prefer a benevolent, patriotic dictator, someone who can get things done. President Trump, who I'm a big supporter of, believe it or not, uh, is behaving like a dictator now, isn't he? Yeah. Forget the rights and wrongs of it. He is behaving like a dictator. He is showing that might is right. Yeah. Forget the morality. He's going to do what he thinks is best for America. But before we continue with that theme, let's have a look at this video. It's Lily Gaddis. I'll put a link in the description. You really do want to listen to this woman. You really do.
The thing about regime changes, they never work. They don't work. They install puppet leaders. It's always a joke. And Venezuela's always been a hotbed for this because of their oil reserves and the mineral reserves and all of this money that can be extracted from Venezuela. There's been color revolutions after color revolutions going on. Now, of course, the other player in this, somebody who's very happy about this, is Israel. Yes, behind everything, behind most of these events, most wars, you will always find them conveniently. I'm sure that's just a coincidence, though. America's always being used to help them with banking, with energy, with weapons, with help to achieve Greater Israel. And you got to keep that in mind. What do these people want? They want the Greater Israel Project, and they are currently, as Netanyahu said, facing a 8-front war. They're fighting an 8-front war. So one of those fronts is the media war.
Talking about Netanyahu, it's quite funny, isn't it? America can send troops without a declaration of war into a sovereign state. I don't give a shit what sort of person Maduro is. I don't give a shit how he came to power. But it is a sovereign state, and it's up to them to determine how their government is run or mishandled. Going in the way that President Trump did was wrong. And he says he arrested Maduro, yeah, for trafficking drugs. It's funny how we can go into Venezuela and arrest the leader of a sovereign state, but he won't arrest one of the biggest war criminals on the planet with an international arrest warrant out for him, Netanyahu. Yeah? Now there's a man, he should be arrested. No, I don't think even Donald Trump, as big as his balls are, has the courage to go into Israel and arrest Netanyahu. His balls aren't that big. I'm sure that one day a man will come along with the balls big enough to do that. But anyhow, let's continue in to listen to Lily Gaddis. I really recommend you listen to her channel.
War for your minds in the United States. Because as Gaza happened, as people are looking on this and being like, wait, you guys are the ones who've made it your meat and potatoes that you were genocided, and now here you are committing a genocide. So how does that square that with us? And we're funding it. So regardless of how you feel about Palestine, it actually doesn't even matter. The point is you're funding that. Is that what you want your taxpayer money going to? Or do you maybe want your tax money going to the betterment of your own country and your own people? Well, that's not what politicians in Washington think. They think all of your money should be sapped out of your pockets as you're poor and broke and should be sent off to other countries. So, of course, they have an interest in this as well. Marco Rubio, in that same live address, he talked about Iran and how they're cozying up to Iran. So Israel has a couple interests in this war, actually. They have an interest in stopping and weakening Iran because Iran has been able to funnel oil and energy through Venezuela. Venezuela has good ties with Iran. Iran, of course, is the last piece in the puzzle that Israel needs to fall in order to achieve Greater Israel.
Talking about the funneling of oil, we keep saying, or our leaders keep saying, Venezuela, poverty, people starving, stuff like that. One of the reasons Venezuela is having problems and selling oil whenever they can on the world stage is because of the sanctions against Venezuela. It's the sanctions that have impoverished Venezuela, not the governance. It's our sanctions.
So, of course, they have every interest in that. Venezuela also has good ties with Russia, so destabilizing their enemies is good for them. It'll also help give them another place to get energy and to get oil because, of course, they've alienated all their friends in the Middle East or their enemies in the Middle East. So that's a little bit contentious as far as the oil. And then, of course, Venezuela cut ties with Israel in 2009, I believe, after the Gaza thing, and there's been a very anti-Israel sentiment in the country, echoed by Maduro and others. So they want to fix that. They want as many countries with good puppet leaders as possible who will give their full allegiance to Israel. In fact, one of the people that was the opposition leader, what's her name? It's Machado. Machado's the opposition leader now. She's probably not going to be installed because, as Trump said in that press conference, she's not very popular and she doesn't have a lot of popular demand with the people. But she has been extremely pro-Israel in her stance, saying that she will regain ties with Israel and try to fix that alliance that was broken by Venezuela, which, again, why should Venezuela have anything to do with Israel? Well, it actually does. If you look at geopolitical strategy and what Israel's thinking, A, they want as many people on their side as possible, and B, they benefit from the resources that we can extract from that country. So where the America First perspective ended was thinking, okay, well, we need to make sure we secure our borders and fellow countries that's in this general hemisphere. That's like the Monroe Doctrine. That would have worked if it would have just been, maybe, I don't know, getting rid of Maduro or cutting ties with this China alliance that they had kind of been forming. Because it's part of the BRICS nations, which is this like offshoot of the currency. And they're like, well, we're just going to start our own currency backed by gold. So I don't have much of an opinion on it because it's so early. This happened, like I said, in the wee hours of the morning. I believe it was 2 a.m. when they struck. They went into Maduro's house. They arrested Maduro and his wife, and he's going to be prosecuted in New York City. This is what Tucker Carlson had to say. Now, take this with a grain of salt. I'm not a...
I think on this support in this war are people like Ben Shapiro. Tucker Carlson will speak about him in a moment. And another war hawk, an Israeli puppet, Senator Lindsey Graham. Now, that should send warning bells off in your head when you find yourself on the same side as people like Ben Shapiro and Lindsey Graham. Neither of them are the biggest fans of Donald Trump. That should set those alarm bells ringing. Have a listen to what Tucker has to say.
No fan of Tucker Carlson because I feel like he's in the CIA. I know he's in the CIA. I mean, his dad was in the CIA. So this is what Tucker Carlson, though, had to say. And this is a pretty good point about Venezuela, so take a listen.
In charge of Venezuela. Just noticing that Venezuela has banned pornography, banned abortion, banned gay marriage, banned sex changes, and banned usury. You don't have credit cards with 40% interest in Venezuela. Okay.
Okay. So you just heard some of the policies that Maduro and Venezuela outlawed: pornography, LGBTQ stuff. But the key one there was usury. They opted out of, if you like, a certain banking system controlled by a certain group. Yeah. Way back in time, there was another country that done that, got out of poverty by getting rid of those people who controlled their banking systems, so they had to go. Why did Gaddafi have to go, by the way? Well, he wanted to return to the gold standard, which would have revealed how worthless the American dollar really is. So he had to go. But Tucker Carlson just hit the nail on the head then, didn't he, with that? I think you can go visit Lucy, and I recommend that you listen to this video in full. So let's go back here. I said democracy and demographics will be the death of the West, yeah. Well, I'm going to say today, America, power protects you today, but your record follows you into tomorrow, doesn't it? What you do today will affect you down the road. Now, everyone's being gung-ho about this, but let's have a look at America's track record when it comes into intervention overseas. Vietnam, you remember that war? Well, no. Most of you were too young, but some of us do. Initially, I supported that war because I was ignorant. Don't be ignorant on this war, guys. Yeah? We saw what happened when the truth about it was revealed. All those Americans died because of America's desire to go to war with the Gulf of Tonkin incident. Then, at random, Iraq, another illegal war, to the benefit of who? All wars. What was it? If my son wants war, there shall be war. I care not who sits on the throne, who controls the money. Yeah. So Iraq, that didn't work out well for you either, did it, America? It didn't work out well for the Iraqi people. Still turmoil there. And then Gaddafi had to go, didn't he? The cork in the bottle. Kill him, yeah. Why? He wanted to make money worth money again. Based it on a gold standard. Well, we're seeing what happened with the prices of the goods we buy in the stores. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. America will be okay. But even more important, so will Israel. I laughed yesterday when I saw Donald Trump, and I do like the guy, I really do. Yeah. Speaking about Russia being weak and pitiful, yeah, and people like Lindsey Graham, war. It's not enough that there's, 2 million dead Ukrainian soldiers and Ukrainian and Russian soldiers. It doesn't matter about their suffering. The arms dealers are still getting rich, yeah. And they think Germany is rearming. I'm just wondering why Germany's rearming. Who are they going to fight? Are they going to fight the Russians, or are they going to fight the Americans? It's a bit of a mess. But think about the Ukrainian war, yeah? Russia has wiped the floor with the West, yeah? Might not like it, but they did. Oh, we're going to send them Challenger tanks, said England. And what happened to those Challenger tanks? They were turned into scrap, or they're sitting in Russian museums now. And the Germans said, no problem. We'll send them our Leopard tanks. They're the best in the world. And then we see videos of them, 5 of them I think it was, all blown to bits within yards of each other. Those didn't work out. And so we sent more and more weapons, and they were turned into scrap. Yeah. And Russia keeps on advancing, slowly but surely. Ukrainians are being forced to fight, dragged off the street, dropped off on the front line with 2 magazines of ammunition, and they're left there to die. The brighter ones surrender immediately. They're well treated, yeah. Anyhow, I guess that takes us back to this caption here. If America and Europe thinks they can defeat Russia, others have tried it in the past. The guy on the left, 1812. Some beautiful, if war paintings can be described as beautiful. 1812, Napoleon's retreat from Moscow. In the middle, Germany. I think they're beginning to think third time lucky. In 1945, after Stalingrad had fallen in, had been retaken by the Russians in round about 1943, they started their retreat from Russia, didn't they? I did put a date under the the American soldier you see on the right, because that is what will happen if Donald Trump pushes it too far. If Germany wants to try their luck again, oh, I get it. They won't expect us to do it 3 times. We'll take them by surprise this time. Yeah, and we'll go in the winter. They won't expect that. Well, America, power protects you today, but your record follows you into tomorrow. All you've done now is make even more people hate you around the world. You haven't won any friends today. Do you think Venezuela is going to be a beacon of democracy now? No. Yeah, sure, there are people cheering on the fall of Maduro. There'd be more people cheering you on if you were to invade the United Kingdom and replace the dictator that we have as our leader. Yeah, I'd support you in that one, but on this one, I'm just sat in amazement, laughing at the ignorance of your average person. They really don't have a clue what's happening today. Israel, the oil, the gold in Venezuela, the natural resources. I would have had more time for you, Donald, if you just said, look, we want their oil, we want their gold, we want their resources. We're going to go and take it and fuck the world. Yeah, I would have had more time for you there. I mean, you're doing it in Syria. You're not wanted in Syria. You weren't asked into Syria. You weren't needed in Syria. But you wanted their oil, didn't you? And you're still there. No, America, are you really, really sure about this? No. Anyhow, guys, leave your thoughts in the comment. Been listening to the Green Arrow. Now, if you haven't already subscribed, feel free. But if you'd like to hear more truth, then please subscribe. Do you want to have a quick look at the channel? Why not? Quick refresh. 1,625 subscribers. Fall of Western civilization. Oops. Yeah. Here we go, guys. Over on our channel, we're up to 1,625 subscribers. Come on, guys. Hit that like and subscribe button now. Ranking views. Fall of Western civilization, 142. Published videos, Venezuela, Donald Trump disappoints people. Yeah, he disappointed me. The great Jonathan Bowden, brilliant. Yeah. Britain is being run by people you never voted for. Yeah, that's interesting. I see that America has cut off information to our security services. I wonder if that's anything to do with the article I wrote there, Britain is being run by people you never voted for, the number of Muslims employed by GCHQ and within our Foreign Office. Yeah. Okay, so that's the score then, guys. Go back here. I guess that's all I've got for you. You've been listening to the Green Arrow. Just telling you the way it is. Talk to you on the next one.